Welcome in, Bills Mafia, and welcome to our Week 9 preview of the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets game this Sunday, November 6th at 1 p.m. in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And before we begin, we got to say one thing that's very important. There's only one team in New York, and that's the Buffalo Bills. That's the most important thing here today. I am your host, Brett, and founder of the Go Bills podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And we're glad to be with you today on this amazing Saturday night. We apologize for the previous video that we had that it actually had a little bit of an issue with it. So we had to take it down and we put up a new one. So we're going for the third time. The third time's the charm today. First one didn't upload, actually. The second one now has an issue. And the third one is now the charm. So let's get it rocking and rolling. This one will be good. This one will be on our page. I promise you that. So let's begin. The 6-1 Buffalo Bills, fresh off of a 27-17 win Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers, will be traveling to East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the division rivals, Zach Wilson and the Jets, who are 5-3 and coming off of a 22-17 loss to the New England Patriots. In this show, we will highlight some key matchups for the Buffalo Bills and Jets, talk about the highlights of the trade deadline, as well as give you some injury reports on both the Bills and the Jets. So without further ado, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. We will start with the Buffalo Bills, who last week had an up and down game in the 27-17 win against the Packers, led by Josh Allen, who was 13 of 25 for 218 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He had a tale of 2 halves in this game. In the first half, Allen looked spectacular and threw both of his touchdown passes, one to Knox and the other one to Diggs. But in the second half, he was not his MVP form and looked to be regressing and looked more like his counterpart. And it's a little bit of a joke, all jokes aside, in Nathan Peterman, but he looked like the guy that he took over for in Nathan Peterman. And if you look at the game, it not only was it Josh Allen that seemed to regress, but the whole entire team seemed to regress. It didn't look like a championship caliber team to me. It looked like a team that just wasn't on the same page. They just were so focused on this week against the New York Jets, but they just let the Packers come back into the game, do whatever they wanted, and they missed tackles. There was turnovers. There was so many areas where the Bills needed to fix that. And I strongly believe that the Bills will figure it out. They will get it back to normal. But it's kind of concerning because we haven't really played 4 good quarters of football yet this season. And I think that Buffalo will get that straightened out. And I think it's going to be real soon. So we want to be playing our best football come the playoffs, not right now. So we're going to get that thing straightened out, and it'll be a lot better. As for the Jets faced the division rival New England Patriots last week, and they came very close to a win against the Patriots in the 22-17 loss, highlighted by Zach Wilson. The offense did a pretty good job. As far as the passing game, he had 355 yards, but had 3 interceptions to go along with the 2 touchdowns that he threw. But the Patriots did outrush the Jets by nearly 3 times the amount, which is an area that I think Buffalo will try and target as an area that Buffalo can definitely have a good game in. But also Buffalo needs to pounce on the mistakes that Zach Wilson had as well if they want to win this game. So hopefully, and I do strongly believe that Buffalo will pounce on those mistakes by the Jets, and they will get it taken care of. So let's go into our preview. Let's start off with the most important preview, which is the Bills pass attack, which is number 1 in the NFL, will face a very tough task in 2 really good corners, headlined by rookie Sauce Gardner. The Bills, led by Josh Allen, who leads the league in passing yards with 314 yards per game, and is second in the NFL in passing touchdowns with 19. He is going to be needing his leading receiver in Stephon Diggs, who has been averaging 109 yards per game, to be relied on often and early going up against Sauce Gardner, especially in one-on-one matchups. Gardner is an excellent cornerback who is a rookie and could possibly be the rookie of the year this year. Not only the rookie of the year, but also the NFL defensive MVP very easily. He comes into the game with 12 passes defense and also has a 64% passer rating against him. And he will be tasked with covering one of the best receivers in the NFL in Stephon Diggs. On the other side of the field for the Jets, on the cornerback position, they have DJ Reed, who is another excellent corner as well. He has been averaging a 60 passer rating, and he will be tasked with going up against Gabe Davis. These are two matchups that Buffalo is going to need to win the one-on-one battles. And if they win those one-on-one battles, this could be where Buffalo will take an early lead and they will have their defense on the field, and the Jets will be trailing, and the passing defense of the Bills will be getting the Jets off the field. Another preview is the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills going up against the defensive line of the New York Jets. The Bills' offensive line has been better as of late, but they're facing their most difficult task. Headlined by the coach of the offensive line, Aaron Cromer, this is the most difficult task that they're going to have all year. The Jets defense has been pressuring quarterbacks 31% of the time, and they have 21 sacks this year. The Bills, on the other hand, their pass offense has been pretty good this year. They're only allowing 22.7% pressures this season, but they're only giving up 11 sacks this year. The biggest thing for me is that Buffalo's interior offensive line is going to be tasked with going up against Quentin Williams, and that's a very difficult task because you have Quentin Williams in the middle of the field, who is an excellent interior defensive lineman for the Jets, but also you have Carl Lawson, Jermaine Johnson, who is a first-round pick from Florida State on the team, as well as C.J. Mosley, who is an excellent guy in getting blitzes, packages with him. But there's so many different guys on this line for the Jets that, honestly, Buffalo is going to have to use the matchups very well because their front seven is excellent. I'm not going to lie. As for the Bills' run game, and as far as the offensive line, the Bills' run game has done a better job over the last few weeks as well. They've done a great job of generating holes for Devin Singletary and James Cook. Now, the Bills did add running back Nyheim Hines, who is an electric running back who will add much more speed to the offense in the backfield. I think that he will get involved a little bit in the game tomorrow. But on the other hand, he doesn't really know the playbook. So if he can learn the playbook, get it straightened out and get that rocking and rolling, he will be involved in the game often and early. And I think that he's going to be an explosive asset for the Bills. Now, the Bills did acquire him from the Indianapolis Colts. They acquired him for Zach Moss in a 5th-round pick, which is a conditional 5th-round pick, which could be a 6th-round pick as well. As for the Jets run defense has only allowed 3.8 yards per carry, which is 3rd in the NFL. On the other hand, Buffalo does have a running back in Devin Singletary who's been averaging 4.5 yards per carry. So Buffalo could rely on Devin Singletary as well as James Cook and Nyheim Hines on certain plays that he does understand. So this is a 3-headed tandem that Buffalo could use, and you could use the speed to go against the Jets defensive line. On the other side of the ball for the Bills pass defense is going up against a very good offensive line in the Jets. The Jets' offensive line, highlighted by Elijah Vera Tucker, is excellent, in my opinion, and very underrated. The Bills have been averaging 6.6 yards per attempt on passes, and they have 11 interceptions on the season. This is mostly because of excellent coverage by Dane Jackson, as well as Kyer Elam. They will be tasked with going up against Elijah Moore, as well as Braxton Berrios. Now, Berrios might go up against one of these two cornerbacks, but he also is going to go up against Taron Johnson. And Johnson is an excellent nickel cornerback, probably one of the best in the NFL at that position. Now, the reason why the Bills are doing excellent in coverage is also because the Bills have been able to generate so much pressure with their front four. The Bills have been able to generate 28.0% pressures with their front four. They've only blitzed 15.2% of the time, and they have 21 sacks on the season. This is mostly because of the newly acquired Von Miller. Who leads the team in sacks this year with 6, but also the emergence of Greg Russo, who has 5 sacks on the year as well. Both of them are able to create pressure, and it allows the Bills to get the ball to their cornerbacks, which allows them to get past the defense and interceptions as well. But it also prevents Zach Wilson or other quarterbacks like that from being able to stay in the pocket and have an easy path to throwing an easy completion. Balls are being thrown early. Receivers are not ready for that, and it allows Buffalo to get their hands on the ball. As for the Bills' run defense, they have been very good this year, except for the game against the Packers. The Packers game, the Bills gave up 208 yards on the ground last week, which is unusual for the Bills. They were first in the NFL before that in yards given up per game, but they moved down to 5th. They are averaging 4.1 yards per carry in the NFL given up, but I think that number is going to come down a lot because the Jets just don't have very good running backs right now. They have a good running back in James Robinson, but he's still trying to figure out the playbook. He doesn't really understand it yet, but I give it another week or two and he will be a lot better. But I don't think the Jets are going to be running the ball that much. If you look back to last week, the Jets really couldn't get the run game going, and the Patriots were able to get the run game going. So that could be an area where Buffalo exploits on offense, getting the run game going, while also stopping the run game of the Jets and making them one-dimensional and allowing Zach Wilson to throw the ball more. As for the injury reports, we'll start with Buffalo. Tackle Spencer Brown has an ankle injury and has been limited in practice all week. He is questionable for the game. Linebacker Tremaine Edmonds has been limited on Wednesday and Thursday. He was a full participant on Friday, but his status for the game, he's probably going to play. As for his sidekick in Matt Milano, he did not practice on Wednesday and Thursday, but was a full participant on Friday. It looks like he's going to play in the game as well. He has an oblique injury. The only person that's going to be out this week is safety Jordan Poyer. He has an elbow injury and has been ruled out. His status is week to week, but I believe he will probably miss one more week and then he'll be back. Let's talk about the keys to the game, starting with the most important key for the game, and that is, for me, is don't let up on this game. This is a division rival, and I strongly believe that if we do let up, it's going to be not good for us, and it's not a good lesson for us. You talk about the metaphor that has been going around the locker room, that metaphor of don't blink. If you think about that metaphor, it's very important. Buffalo cannot blink on this game. They have to take each and every play seriously if they want to win this game, and they're going up against a very tough task. This is a good team, a good roster that's been built by Joe Douglas as well as with Robert Saleh. They've done an excellent job, and they will be ready for the task. And don't get me wrong. If you are taking this game and you think that you're going to blow out the New York Jets, you're wrong. This team is really, really good. Honestly, it is. But Buffalo needs to be ready for this game. They need to be physical, and they need to play Buffalo Bills football throughout the whole entire 4 quarters, or else you might get a butt whooping. The second most important thing is let Josh be Josh, but also make sure he's being smart. Now, when I say this, last week it seemed like Josh was trying to put so much pressure on the defense that he was pressing the ball down the field so much that it just seemed like he wasn't taking what the defense was giving him. Now, I do like that about Josh. I think he can make any throw on the field. He is an excellent quarterback. But on the other hand, you also have to be smart as a quarterback. You can't turn the ball over 2 times and win a game each and every week. You got to be smart with the ball. Take what the defense gives you. The 3-yard completion is better than an interception, or a 5-yard completion is better than an incompletion. So let's take what the defense gives us, get it into manageable third downs, making sure that you're not in third and long, which allows the Jets to put more pressure on you and put blitzes in the packages. Get the third and short, and that can be utilized you can utilize that with different running backs. You can utilize that with Josh Allen. And you can also use Josh Allen's legs as well in the third and short situation. So I like those odds in my favor. Another thing is take care of the rock. And this is not only is included in Josh Allen, but it's included in everybody. Make sure that you're taking care of the ball. We were currently first in the NFL before the Packers game in the turnover battle, but we have slipped down a little bit, and we are now at +3 in the turnover battle, and hopefully we can get that number back to being number 1 in the NFL. But we need to win the turnover battle in this game, especially if we want to win. And when we get turnovers, we have to make sure that we're capitalizing on those turnovers and putting points on the board. I'd love to see 7 points in those situations, but we have to get at least 3 points on the board each and every time that we get a turnover. Now, this is an important key to the game that isn't really being talked about as much, but I think it's an important key to the game. And that is take advantage of the Jets' penalties. The Jets have been averaging 6.5 penalties per game, which is pretty high. So if the Jets are jumping off sides, or if there's certain penalties, make sure that you're taking advantage of it. You could also have a penalty from an offsides, which creates a pass interference, which then gets more yards for the Bills and gets the ball down the field more, and allows you to get into the red zone, and you can utilize more weapons such as Dawson Knox or even Isaiah McKenzie, who has been a red zone threat throughout the whole entire year. Now, my last key to the game, which is an important key to the game, but I think this is something that is said each and every week, is be disciplined. Making sure you're being disciplined not only on offense, but also on defense. Making sure you're staying in your gap. Making sure that you're wrapping up tacklers. Making sure that you're not arm tackling. Making sure that you're in the right position to make a play on the ball each and every time. That's going to be important for the Bills to win this game. As far as score predictions, I do have the Bills winning this game 38-24. I have Josh Allen going for 267 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Diggs will have 105 yards. Singletary will have 74 rushing yards. And Hines will be behind him by 15 yards with 59 yards. Let's go over to Instagram real quick. And I'm going to take a quick second to get that up real quick. We're going to go over to Instagram with some comments. I'm going to take a quick second to get that up. But just bear with me 1 second, guys. And I will be right back with you guys. Welcome back, guys. This is Brett again with the Go Bills podcast, and we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us on the Go Bills podcast. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification button because we have videos coming out each and every week. We love having each and every one of the Bills Mafia on here. If you don't know me yet, my name is Brett with the Go Bills podcast. I have been a Bills fan since I was 1 year old. I've been a fan for about 25 years now, and I love the Bills and I love everything about them. It has been an excellent time being a Bills fan. Love it each and every week. My dad is a Bills fan. He's been a Bills fan since the early days of Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, all those guys. And he was a fan before they even were good. So he was a fan in 84 and 85 when they were struggling and they were 2-14. And now, they had the 4 Super Bowls. Watch the 4 Super Bowls. That stunk. But now it feels so good to be a fan of the Bills. It Feels so good to be a fan after the 17-year drought. Feels so good to be a fan and just see the success that we've seen. And it feels good to be able to watch that with my dad. So I got to give a shout out to my father. I'm going to take a quick second, grab something real quick because this is an important piece that he gave me. And I want to show you guys real quick about this piece real fast. Give me 1 second, guys. So last week, guys, my father was in upstate New York. He was in Canandaigua, and which is where a lot of my family is from. So shout out to my family as well. Appreciate each and every one of you for watching the show as well, giving me a lot of likes and subscriptions as well. I appreciate each and every one of you and my family. But he was in Canandaigua. He stopped by a Wegmans, and I told you guys on the podcast that I was getting something off of Amazon, and my dad hit me in the some text and said, "Am I just your Amazon?" And I said, "No, you're not my Amazon." I go, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, you said that the surprise that I was getting for you was coming from Amazon." Well, turns out my dad actually went up to Buffalo. He got me a big surprise. He came back with a big old box of Josh Jacks. Now, I've never tried them yet. I'm not going to try them just because I don't like to try them during the season because I don't want to give Josh any bad luck. So I'm going to keep it for the season. I'm going to keep it out. And if we win the Super Bowl, I promise you I will eat a box of it live on our show this after the Super Bowl win. So I will do that for each and every one of you guys. So let's go over to the Instagram comments real quick, going over each and every one of them. We will start with Sean Kula of the Red, White, and Bills. Shout out to the Red, White, and Bills. And go ahead and give him a follow on YouTube and Instagram at Red, White, and Bills. He said, "Do you think that the Bills will play a full four quarters of football?" Pardon me for that. And I do think that, Sean, that they will play 4 quarters of football. I think they're going to be excellent. I think that Sean McDermott's going to get the team ready to go. And I do think that that's going to be fixed very easily. I think it's just a letdown in the run game. I think that we just missed our gaps, especially. But I think that we'll get it figured out. And I think that it's just going to be fixed very soon. We have guys like Daquan Jones. We have Ed Oliver. We have Jordan Phillips, as well as Tim Settle, that'll get that fixed. I don't think it's going to be an issue. If you look back to last week, the biggest thing was Buffalo had 4 guys on the line, and the Packers had, at times, they had 3 tight ends out there. That's what created the holes for A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. It wasn't because Buffalo wasn't generating enough pressure. They just had 4 guys going up against 7 guys. You're not going to win that matchup very often. That's the reason why we didn't win those matchups, and they were able to run the ball on us. But as the game went along, Buffalo did stop them more, and they got that fixed. So, Sean, I appreciate that question. That's a very good question, and I think it's going to be fixed very shortly. Andrew Joseph Kumarin said Buffalo 717. Yeah, man, I love Buffalo. Been a Bills fan, like I said, for the past 25 years. My dad held me up like the scene in The Lion King in front of, at the time, it was Ralph Wilson Stadium, and that's how I became a Bills fan. If you didn't know that, now you know. So that's the reason why I'm a Bills fan. I love everything about the Buffalo Bills football. I am a converted, I was a Sabres fan at the time. Now, living in Florida, I've become a Lightning fan. So the Lightning played the Sabres today, and I root for the Sabres as long as they don't play the Lightning. But I love the way that the Sabres organization is going. I think that they're doing excellent things, and I think they're going to get that figured out. So I love the Sabres as well, but I want to get more involved in the Buffalo Bulls. So I'd love to get more involved in that, but everything Buffalo, I love everything about it, and it's a wonderful city, and shout out to the 717. Last thing was Carson 209 said, "What's your score prediction?" And I did tell you, Carson, that the score prediction is going to be 38-24 in favor of our Buffalo Bills. Let's go over to YouTube and answer a question from Hannah. Hannah said, "What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in the game this week?" And I do love this question, Hannah, and I will keep this up there for you. Shout out to her. I do appreciate this question. This is an excellent question. The biggest challenge for me, I think, is going to be the Bills' interior offensive line going up against the interior defensive line of the New York Jets. This is headlined by, like I said, Quinnen Williams, who leads the team in sacks. I think that it's going to be a tough task for Roger Saffold, Mitch Morse, as well as Ryan Bates. They're going to move Quinnen Williams around to try and create some matchup nightmares. But I think Aaron Kromer is going to get the offensive line into the right positions. They're going to do a good job. I think that the offensive line, as of lately, has done a better job. If you look at Roger Saffold, last week against the against the Green Bay Packers, he had a pretty good game, but his best game was against the Kansas City Chiefs the week prior. He's having 2 excellent games. I think he's solidifying himself. He had the rib injury to begin the season, and I think he's finally coming into his own, and you're seeing him gel with Deion Dawkins, and they're building a really good side of that left side of the offensive line. And I think that you're going to see where the offensive line is going to do an excellent job going up against Quinnen Williams, and you're not going to see that many plays where Quinnen is in the backfield. So that's an excellent question, Hannah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Nickel City Mafia. You can find them on YouTube and Instagram for Nickel City Mafia, as well as on YouTube. So you can find them on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Nickel City Mafia. We've been doing a lot of collaborations with them, as well as with Red, White, and Bills. You can find them on YouTube and Instagram. And we've done a lot of collaborations between the 4 of us. It's Mike, Mike and Jake from Red, White, and Bills. Mike and Jake from Nickel City Mafia, and Sean from Red, White, and Bills. So don't forget to like and subscribe to both of those channels. You will see myself on there at times. We'll be collaborating on different stuff. We have a group chat going on right now. We're going to do some collaborations in the near future. And they have excellent stuff coming out for their pages as well. Both very good Bills Mafia fans. They are excellent in what they do, and they're doing wonderful things over on their pages. So don't forget to give some of Bills Mafia some love out there and give them some reviews, and let them know that Brett from the Go Bills podcast sent you over to them. They'll appreciate that. As for the Go Bills podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Go Bills podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And shoot us a DM if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about something specifically, you want me to talk about it on the show. You can comment on there. You can give us a DM, and we'll put it on the show. We appreciate that so much. This has been Brett with the Go Bills podcast, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow to our YouTube and Instagram show, our pregame show, as well as our halftime show, and our postgame show on YouTube and Instagram. That'll get started at 12:30, right before the game. We'll have the inactives go over some of the key matchups for the Bills, talk about some areas that the Bills can make some adjustments to, and we will talk about how the keys to the game. So don't forget to tune into that on YouTube and Instagram tomorrow as well. This has been Brett with the Go Bills podcast, and we will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills podcast. Until then, Go Bills.